In the previous 3 videos in this series, I have spoken about the first 3 verses of Arunachala Padigam, and in this video I'm going to be talking about verse 4 of Arunachala Padigam. The first 3 verses were all primarily prayers. In the first verse, he's praying to for Arunachala to give him sight of himself, that Arunachala giving him sight of the true sight of Arunachala. True sight of Arunachala means the term he uses in Tamil is ūṛiyil, your vision, your sight. But that also means since Arunachala is our own real self, our real nature, seeing Arunachala as it really is seeing ourselves as we really are. So what he's referring to there, he's praying for that swarupa darshana. That means seeing his own real nature, in other words, true self-knowledge. In order to attain true self-knowledge, we need to have all-consuming love for that. So in the second verse he prays for true love. And in the so long as we see ourselves as a person, we are not seeing ourselves as we actually are. And so long as we don't see ourselves as we actually are, we cannot see Arunachala as it actually is. Now we see ourselves as the form of a body, so we see Arunachala as the form of a hill. That is not the real nature of Arunachala. This is not our real nature. So that which sees itself as a person, I am mākkaļi, that is ego. So in the third verse, he's praying for the complete destruction of ego, because that is a prerequisite for seeing Arunachala as it really is, or seeing ourselves as we really are. So those first 3 verses are prayers. In this 4th verse, there isn't actually any prayer at all. It is basically a praise of Arunachala. This is very typical of all of the 5 hymns of the Bhagavan composed to Arunachala, all the Stuti Panchakam. He is constantly switching back and forth between prayer mode and praise mode. And as often when he's praising Arunachala, indirectly he's referring to his own attainment. But of course, Bhagavan never said, I have attained self-knowledge, or I am self-realized, or any such thing, because so long as there's an I to say I have attained, that I is ego, and therefore we haven't attained. So Bhagavan never directly says he's attained, but he hints at it in many ways in these verses. Why Bhagavan wrote these verses? Because obviously he had attained all that needs to be attained. As a 16-year-old schoolboy, when he got that fear of death, his mind turned within and merged forever in its source. So he was no longer an ego or a person, though in our view he appeared to be a person. So why he sang these verses? The explanation many people believe is that he did this for our sake. And in a sense that is true. But we cannot adequately, with our intellect, explain all these things. Or explain that's why it's very difficult actually explaining these verses adequately, because these verses are not to be understood with the head, but with the heart. That is, we have to understand this is love poetry. Bhagavan is expressing his love for Arunachala, and love can be only understood by heart and not by intellect. We can analyze it intellectually, but that's not really getting to the heart of it. To get to the heart of it, only if we are able to feel what Bhagavan was feeling when singing these verses, or feel the feelings of a devotee that were expressed through Bhagavan in the form of these verses, can we truly understand them. So any explanation I give in words is necessarily inadequate. It can never be adequate. However, I will, since I have begun trying to explain them, at least I can explain the meaning in English of the verses, and explain it, give as much explanation as is possible, well, as I'm capable of, or what comes to my mind at this time. As I say, this verse is just a praise. Indirectly, Bhagavan is referring to his attainment, but many of the sentences here can be talking about the final attainment, or it can be implying a state just before the final attainment. It's how we interpret it. It's the feeling. It's how the feelings it evokes in us is the real meaning of it. Or that's the real meaning of it for us now. As we progress on the spiritual path, our feelings will become deeper, and we'll see more in it than we're able to see now. So in the first sentence, this verse is 4 lines, and each line is one complete sentence, or in the case of the 4th line, it's 2 sentences. So the first line, the first sentence, what he says is ūṛiyil vārum mākkaļi leṉbā lūdiyam yādunī peṭṛṛāy. That means among the people living in the world, from me, what benefit did you gain? The first word of the verse, ūri, is the same as the final word of the previous verse, but whereas in the previous verse that was used in the sense of a long time or in the eon, here it's used in its secondary sense, namely the world. This word ūri comes from the verb ūr, which means to grow old, decay, perish. So the world is called ūri, either because it is ancient or because everything in it is subject to decay. We can take it either way. So in this ūri, in this world, among all the people means not only human people, it also can include all living beings. So among all the living beings living in the world, what benefit did you get from me? The implication is Arunachala has taken Bhagavan as his own. He's taken possession of Bhagavan. He has swallowed Bhagavan's ego. By doing so, what benefit did you gain? This is the spirit or bhava with which Bhagavan sang this is, in what way am I worthy of this grace? Indirectly, that is what it means. Arunachala, of his own infinite grace, he's taken Bhagavan as his own. He's drawn him to his feet, he's swallowed his ego. Why did you do so? What benefit have you got from me? I am nothing after all. So why did you choose me? That is the devotee is humbly feeling, what have I done to deserve this great blessing, this great good fortune of being chosen rather than being left to wander in this world of delusion. So when the question he actually asks is, from me what benefit did you gain? That's the first clause, among all the people in the world, the implication is by choosing me from among all the people in the world. What benefit did you, or ūḍiyam means profit, gain, benefit or advantage. So in what way did it profit you to take me as your own? In other words, he's implying that Arunachal's grace is without any cause. There's no reason for his love for us. He loves us just because his nature is love. That is, the very nature of God is love. Why God loves us, in spite of all, whatever terrible things we may do, whatever mean desires we may have, yet God loves us. Why? Because he doesn't see us as other than himself, so he loves us as himself. There's so much implied in these verses, but and it's according to our feeling what the depth of meaning that we see in it. Then in the second sentence he says, that's the second line, which is also second sentence, he says, pāṛiṇil vīrādu ēṛayēik kāttuṇ un padattiļ liruttivait taṉaiyē. In English we have to slightly rearrange the order of the words. Kāttuṇ means protecting. Ēṛe means a poor wretch. Ēṛayē is the accusative case of a poor wretch. So ēṛayēik kāttuṇ means protecting this poor wretch. He's referring to himself as a poor wretch here. He's not actually, he doesn't actually use the word me, he just says this poor wretch. So protecting this poor wretch, protecting from what? Pāṛiṇil vīrādu, from falling into dissolution. Pār means dissolution, pār means dissolution, devastation, ruin, emptiness, void. It's a term that's often used in Tamil as the equivalent of the Sanskrit word sunya. So pār is that complete void, that complete emptiness, that state of devastation, ruin, nothingness. It can also mean baseness, evil. So protecting me from falling into this void of this non-existent void of evil, baseness, devastation, ruin. So protecting me from that. Padattiṉil, that means in your feet, or implies at your feet. But padam has two meanings. It both means feet, that's padam, and it also means state. So it can mean padattiṉil iriti can mean fixing me in your state or fixing me at your feet. In devotional literature in India, not only in Tamil but also in Sanskrit and other languages, the term your feet, the feet of God, they are a metaphor for the true state of God. But here he happens to use a word that means both feet and state. So you keeping me, fixing me in your state. Vaṛttiṇī means you kept. So we can either take it as you kept me fixed in your at your feet, or we can take it, because iriti is a participle, is an adverbial participle. So padattiṇil iriti means fixing me at your feet. You kept me thus. You kept me thus, or we can also take it, you kept me safe in this state of eternal bliss. That's the implication. So indirectly in this sentence, Bhagavan is referring to his salvation. Arunachala has saved him from the delusion of the world, and kept him fixed in his own state. In other words, his own state is what? The state of egolessness, the state of pure self-awareness. So you kept me fixed in this state. That is what Bhagavan is implying here. The verb vaṛttiṇayē, that's a second person form of an intensified second person form of vai, which means to put, place, seat, deposit, guard, reserve, detain, hold in possession. So you kept me in this state. You fixed me firmly in this state of pure self-awareness is the implication. And then in the third line and third sentence, he says, āṛiyāṅ karuṇai yaṇṇalē, yeṇṇa aham miha nānam ṇiḍumāl. The first clause is the first phrase is a vocative phrase. Yaṇṇalē means Āṇṇal means what is great, what is lofty, what is superior. So it's a term that's often used for a superior person, a great person, a ruler, a king, and it also means God or Guru or Lord. There's a describing that the Lord, that Arunachala, whom he's addressing, there's a relative clause, yāṛiyāṅ karuṇai. That, if we rearrange it in the normal prose order, would be karuṇai yāṛiyāṅ. That is, who is the, Ari means ocean, karuṇai means grace, compassion, kindness, the ocean of kindness, the ocean of grace. So, Lord, who are the ocean of grace. Yeṇṇa means when I think or when I consider. Consider what? It's not specifically stated here, but it implies when I think of your grace, your immense ocean-like grace. Mika nanam nannidam. That means Mika means immense or great. Nanam means shame, shyness, or awe. Nannidam, we can take it as overwhelms me. That is a form of the verb nannu, which means to come close, approach, reach, be attached to, be united with, adhere to. So, but that is this shame attaches itself to me. That means it overwhelms me, is the implication. The final syllable al is here just a poetic expletive. It doesn't actually mean anything. So the whole sentence is, Lord, who are the ocean of grace, when I think of your grace, immense shame or shyness or awe overwhelms me. So he's again, I mean, similar to the first sentence where he's wondering why Bhagavan chose him, why Arunachala chose him out of all the beings in this world. And here he's wondering, I feel great shame when I think of your grace. The implication here is, I'm so unworthy, yet you selected me out of all the people of this world, and you drew me and fixed me at your feet, saving me from falling into the delusion of the world. I feel great shame because I know I'm totally unworthy of this grace, is the implication. And then in the fourth and final line of this verse is actually two sentences. The first sentence is vāṛinī Arunachala. Arunachala is here standing for a vocative, addressing Arunachala. Ni is you. Vāri is an optative. That means may you live, may you flourish, may you prosper, may you be glorious. So this sentence, vāṛinī Arunachala, Arunachala, may you flourish, may you prosper, may you be glorious. I mean, that's it's a term that is often used in Tamil when you're praising someone. Like, it's a bit similar to jaya, victory to, or long live, or whatever. But it's a very may you live forever is the implication. May you forever shine in the hearts of your devotees. You can take it to mean. And then in the final sentence he says, Unne vaṛutti vāṛttiḍat tāṛttumeṉ taṇaiyē. That means to praise and adore you, my head bends down. Tāṛttumeṉ taṇaiyē means my head bends down. Taṛttu means to be low or to bend. That's signifying the humility. But two adverbial participles used before this. Vaṛutti is an adverbial participle of vāṛtu, which means to praise, to bless, praise or extol. Vaṛttiḍat is an infinitive form of, vaṛutti is an adverbial form of vaṛuttu. Vaṛttiḍat is an infinitive form of vaṛtu, which has a very similar meaning to felicitate, congratulate, bless, praise, applause. So they're both words that are used here in the sense of worshipping, praising, adoring. So to praise you, my head bends down. So in this verse, Bhagavan is indirectly expressing that Arunachala has completely swallowed him, completely taken possession of him, swallowed his ego, but purely by his infinite grace, his infinite love, without any worthiness on Bhagavan's part. Bhagavan here means Bhagavan, say the devotee, let's say, because Bhagavan is not really Bhagavan. Bhagavan is taking the part of a devotee. Without the devotee deserving this grace, Arunachala has just taken possession of him. This is in the course of spiritual sadhana. It is sometimes said that sometimes two types of bhava, two types of attitude towards God are talked about. There's the monkey bhava and the kitten bhava. A baby monkey clings firmly to its mother in order to be kept safe, whereas the baby kitten doesn't know how to cling, cannot cling to its mother, so it just cries out for help, and its mother comes and picks it up by the scruff of the neck and carries it. So Bhagavan has clarified the spiritual path begins with the monkey bhava. First of all, we have to cling. We have to cling firmly to God. We have to cling firmly to self in our heart. But as we progress along the spiritual path, as the ego becomes more and more attenuated, as its outward-going desires become weaker and weaker, we are more and more surrendering ourselves, yielding ourselves to God. So we slowly progress from the baby monkey attitude to the kitten attitude. That is, toward when we reach a certain stage in our spiritual development, we feel, I am doing nothing, I can do nothing. Even our clinging to self-attentiveness. How are we clinging to this self-attentiveness if not by the grace of Bhagavan? So who am I to do anything? So it's all entirely done by him. That is what Bhagavan is expressing here. But as the ego becomes more and more attenuated, we recognize more and more that whatever sadhana, whatever spiritual practice is being done, it's being done through us rather than by us. Whatever effort is being made, effort has to be made. We have to cling. But how are we clinging? It's only because of the love that he has given us that we are clinging. We are clinging because there's nothing else we can do but to cling. Because he's taken away our desires for other things, so we can no longer cling to other things. And he's given us this love only for himself. So clinging becomes our very nature. But it doesn't feel like I am clinging, I am a great devotee. It doesn't feel like that. It feels like I'm totally worthless. He has taken possession of me. He has, it's entirely by his grace. As Bhagavan often used to say, grace is the beginning, the middle and the end. Grace means, grace is the love that God has for us. But who is God, or Arunachala, or Bhagavan? They're nothing but our own real nature. So it's the love that we, as we really are, have for ourselves as we really are. Because we are not other than that, we are not other than our real nature, our Atmaswarupa, in the view of our real nature, we are nothing other than it, so it loves us as itself. That great love that our real nature has for us, for itself, and for us included in itself, because we are not other than that, it's our real nature after all. That love is what we experience as a struggling ego, following the spiritual path. That's what we experience as grace, as the love that God is showing to us. And that love, it's only because of the love, our real nature doesn't do anything. Our real nature is immutable. It never does anything. Its nature is just being. And being means being aware, because being and awareness are one and the same thing. So our real nature doesn't actually do anything, but by its love, what it loves is just to be. And since we are not other than that, it loves us just to be, so to speak. We're trying to explain this from our point of view, but from the point of view of our real nature, it alone exists, and there's nothing other than it, so it just loves itself as it is, and it loves just being itself. But that in our experience as an ego, that works in the form of grace, slowly drawing us back to itself, attracting us to itself. So why, now we have come to Bhagavan's path, we are trying to follow this path of self-investigation and self-surrender. But what is actually driving this? It's only because he has planted that seed of love in our heart. He's given us a little interest, a little liking, a little inclination towards this. And now, like a gardener who plants a seed in the soil, he takes great care of this seed and makes sure, protects it when it's a small shrub, and allows it to grow into a big tree. So it's grace that has planted this seed of love in our heart. It's this seed of love planted by grace that is impelling us to follow this path. And eventually we'll be swallowed by that grace. Nothing will remain. Like Bhagavan says in verse 101 of Aksharamulai, like ice in melt water, melt me as love in you, the form of love. So love is the very nature of Arunachala, love or grace, whatever we call it. And that is not, we are not other than that. But just like ice is nothing other than water, but it seems to be other so long as it's in a solid form. And its real nature as water becomes manifest again when it melts back into the ocean. Our real nature will manifest when we melt as love in Arunachala. So the whole of this path, it's a path of love. People often think of Bhagavan's path, it's just the path of knowledge, there's no room for bhakti in it. The path of knowledge and the path of love are inseparable, they are one and the same thing. So this is why Bhagavan said that grace is the beginning and the middle of the end. Grace is the infinite love that Bhagavan has for us, and that his love is what has drawn us to him, what has given us love for him, what gives us the love to follow this path, and eventually we will be, as he says in that verse in Aksharamulai, like ice in water, we will be melted back into him, we will be swallowed by him. And being swallowed by him alone is truly seeing him. Because so long as we are separate from him, we don't know him as he really is. In order to know him as he really is, we have to be him. And what is he? He's nothing but our real nature. He's that pure self-awareness that is always shining in our heart as I. So this is this path that Bhagavan has taught us. This is the pinnacle of love. This is the culmination of the path of bhakti, the ultimate path of bhakti. But how are we worthy to follow this? We aren't worthy at all, as Bhagavan says in this verse. We are completely unworthy, but just like a piece of straw that has fallen into a Ganga and is being swept down to the ocean, we have somehow fallen into this river of Bhagavan's love, and we are being swept down to the ocean of his infinite love.